My final question today is, how do you perceive the spiritual realm and spiritual warfare as African believers?
Dr. Tino, in his disposition concerning African religion, he states that they're what they call lesser gods, and I emphasize the plural component of gods because within the African experience, there are multiple people who have multiple gods that they believe in. And so, because of this, Africa as a whole is a very spiritual induced continent. Those who will walk or who are walking in the spirit, when you go to Africa, you feel the intensity of what's occurring in the spirit realm. And so Africa, in terms of spiritual warfare, is very much the place of engagement for those who might not actually be exposed to. It's very much that place. I remember a couple of years ago when I went to Ghana on a mission trip. I was asleep, and I had several dreams, several spiritual dreams, just with the intensity that was in the atmosphere. And so spiritual warfare, it does exist, and we know this exists because there are people who they're different priests, different priests for different traditional religions that invoke different spirits. And my colleague here has his experience, which he's going to share.
Uh, Spiritual warfare in Africa, as you relate to that of the West, there is certain similarity, and there is also a great difference. Spiritual warfare in Africa to that of spiritual warfare in the West, the similarity is that Satan exists. He exists. He operates. He operates in Africa. He operates in the West. He exists worldwide. Yeah. And the difference is, in Africa, besides Satan, we got juju priests, we got occultic existence, occultic power existence, where you will find in a time that is being controlled by juju priests, they impose challenge or attack on the church that attempt to be established in that area, realizing that the church being there will create problem for their existence. So they launch attack. And in the West, you really don't see such going on. You don't see such happening. And so because of these, pastors, ministers of the gospel in Africa are engaged greatly into intensive prayer time, intensive fasting prayer, as to deal with these issues. But unlike the West, you find out pastors are now greatly engaged into spiritual warfare as compared to that of, as compared to those in Africa. Even though in the West they are engaged in spiritual warfare, but to some extent, their engagement is not like what minister of the gospel do in Africa. And because in Africa we battle Satan, we battle witchcraft, we battle occultic power, we battle charms, and but in the West, Satan is being battled, and he's being greatly emphasized on as the enemy, to the church, and so warfare is directed against Satan. But in Africa, it's directed against Satan, witches and wizards, Zoes and Zokias, and you just go on to name. So spiritual warfare in Africa is so intense. It's so intense. Now, there's a colleague of mine that I heard about, who went bombing to minister God's word, and right after the crusade, he came down and he died. Yeah, he died, and that was an attack. According to those that were with him on the crusade, there was an attack the last night, and he lost his life. Yeah, he lost his life. So, like where I am in Total, Total had been a place greater control by Pearl, by Sunday, and by waterways, by the power of darkness. And those guys at the initial stage of the work, they fought. They never wanted the work to have succeeded, knowing that the existence of the church there will destroy, their strongholds, will destroy their power, will dethrone them. And so they fought. They fought. Like, if I should show you my legs, it's just that my complexion is returning. But at a certain time, my legs just got hot one evening. Very hot. And all of a sudden, it started to itch. And as I scratched it, blazes stood. And water began to come out. And so, it was just sudden. Yeah. So I immediately took the anointing oil and anointed my legs and began to pray. That attack lasted for 6 months. I kept praying and kept speaking the word of God. Behold, how beautiful are the feet of those who carry the good news, those who sow beautiful talent. And I saw the sign of leprosy. Yeah, that was an attack. Before that, the Sunday had a meeting to destroy me, to kill me, and to damage the road so that I will encounter, sickness that will lead to my death. And that was the attack. Yeah. In my pulse or hole, my pulse hole got white, and the hair in the hole got white. That's the sign of leprosy. Yeah. It lasted for 6 months. So in the West, you don't find such attack. You don't find such attack. So indeed, spiritual warfare in Africa is something different from that of spiritual warfare in the West.
There's a level